Want to know why? Ask how. Howard the Humongous.
A scandal is unfolding in Virginia in which 3 Democrats and 1 Republican have been delegitimized and told to resign from office. Those 3 Democrats and a Republican are Governor Ralph Northam, Lieutenant Governor Justin E. Fairfax, and Attorney General Mark R. Herring, all Democrats, plus Thomas K. Norman Jr., the Republican Majority Leader in the Virginia Senate. What kicked off this scandal? One of the deepest and most mysterious emotional triggers in American politics today. Virginia Governor Ralph Northam made a radio appearance on Washington, D.C.'s WTOP, explaining his support for House Bill 2491, an abortion law for Virginia, like the one recently passed in New York State. That legislation allows abortion after the first 24 weeks of pregnancy if the fetus is not viable or if the mother's health is at risk. A concerned citizen was outraged by this pro-choice position and contacted Patrick Howley of Big League Politics, an alt-right news and opinion blog put together by a former Breitbart staffer. The concerned citizen pointed out a photograph on Governor Norham's yearbook page for medical school, the photo of one man in blackface and another in a Ku Klux Klan hood and gown. So anger over abortion triggered a landslide of accusations in which 3 Virginia Democrats and 1 Virginia Republican have been shamed. Just as the Virginia scandals were causing mayhem, Donald Trump gave his second State of the Union speech. What did that State of the Union speech have to do with the Virginia scandal? Everything. In his State of the Union, Donald Trump called for unity. Unity in the task of achieving greatness. Sounds good, right? Said Trump, quote, "We must choose between greatness or gridlock, results or resistance, vision or vengeance, incredible progress or pointless destruction. Tonight I ask you to choose greatness." But hidden in Trump's State of the Union was a detonator that would make unity impossible. What was that hidden detonator, and what did it have in common with the Virginia scandal? Everything. First off, the unification or the division created by Trump's State of the Union speech was in the eye of the beholder. Newt Gingrich wrote on Fox News that the State of the Union speech changed, quote, "the very trajectory of history," close quote. That's a big claim that Donald Trump's speech changed the course of history. What in the world was Newt talking about? Newt believed that the Trump State of the Union achieved something impossible. It united the 2 sides of the aisle. It brought Republicans and Democrats together with its call for greatness. Democrats couldn't help themselves, wrote Gingrich. Over and over again, the power of the president's words pulled them to their feet, applauding. Gingrich wrote that this bodes well for bipartisan legislative initiatives for the rest of this year. But that's not how Todd Starnes, another Fox News contributor, saw it. In fact, Starnes said the very opposite. Trump's speech, Starnes said, revealed that there was an evil in the Democratic Party. There is something demonic happening within the ranks of the Democrats. The first step in setting up a genocide is the dehumanization of the people you want to slaughter. Starnes saw Trump's speech as an aid to the demonization and dehumanization of the Democrats. For Gingrich, President Trump's speech was a call for peace. For Starnes, it was a call to war. What was the war maker at the center of the president's speech? Something that Liberty University President Jerry Falwell Jr. cheered for. Falwell tweeted, "Best State of the Union speech in my lifetime, delivered by the best President of the United States since George Washington. And it's not even over yet. God bless real Donald Trump," close quote. Let me repeat Falwell's key words. Falwell said that the State of the Union revealed Donald Trump as the best president since George Washington. What in the world inspired such fervent emotion? Falwell's joy came from a gripping Trump description.
There could be no greater contrast to the beautiful image of a mother holding her infant child than the chilling displays our nation saw in recent days. Lawmakers in New York cheered with delight upon the passage of legislation that would allow a baby to be ripped from the mother's womb moments from birth. These are living, feeling, beautiful babies who will never get the chance to share their love and their dreams with the world.
And Trump claimed that the governor of Virginia, yes, Ralph Northam, the man at the center of the blackface scandal, quote, stated that he would execute a baby after birth.
And then we had the case of the governor of Virginia, where he stated he would execute a baby after birth.
MSNBC's fact checkers said that these two statements were so far from reality that they were lies, and you can check them out yourself. But Jerry Falwell Jr. beamed with pride because Donald Trump also announced,
to defend the dignity of every person, I am asking Congress to pass legislation to prohibit the late-term abortion of children who can feel pain in the mother's womb.
to prohibit the late-term abortion of children who can feel pain in the mother's womb, close quote. Abortion has been the greatest divider in the last 50 years of American politics. Putting it at the center of a State of the Union speech was like detonating an explosive vest at the punch bowl of a wedding party. A fact that was underlined by the Virginia political scandal, a scandal that began because one anti-abortion citizen was outraged by Governor Ralph Northam's stance on, guess what? Abortion. Why does the abortion issue have this power over us? Good question. One answer is that human cultures organize themselves around sexual norms. Some societies choose polygamy. Islam, for example, allows a man 4 wives. Others choose monogamy. And each culture regards those who disagree with it about sexual regulations as monstrous, barbarous, and barely human. In America, for the last 40 years, one subculture has chosen a sexual norm in which pregnancy is the will of God. A woman loses control over her body the minute her belly begins to round out, and the fetus is a full-fledged human being with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness from the very instant of conception, when that fetus is a mere 1 cell in size. Another subculture believes in giving women the choice of whether to carry a fetus to term. In other words, the second subculture believes that a pregnant woman's body does not belong to the state, the church, or God. A woman's womb belongs to her. And here's the kicker. Despising a rival tribe's sexual norms triggers the dopamine centers in the brain. It triggers the release of hormones that hit us like amphetamines or cocaine. It produces the joy of righteous indignation. It kicks off the pleasure of what psychologists call altruistic punishment, which leaves us with 2 tribes fighting a political war here in the United States. And the sexual issue, the abortion issue, is that war's most profound emotional motivator. There were areas in Donald Trump's second State of the Union on which both Republicans and Democrats can agree. Those included paid family leave, health insurance protection for those with previous conditions, a decrease in the cost of medical care, a drop in the price of drugs, and rebuilding and revitalizing our nation's infrastructure. Let us hope that Democrats and Republicans can come together over these issues and pass meaningful legislation that makes change. But the bottom line is this. In his second State of the Union, Trump said, quote, "Together we can break decades of political stalemate. We can bridge old divisions, heal old wounds, build new coalitions, forge new solutions, and unlock the extraordinary promise of America's future." But the Tea Party disagrees. The day before the State of the Union, it said that, quote, "We are in the early stages of Civil War 2.0, and heritage Americans are losing that war to foreign globalist invaders," close quote. Where does that Civil War 2.0 get its greatest power? From the gut-level emotional explosions of one issue above all others, a sexual issue, abortion, which leaves a question. Did Trump's State of the Union do what Newt Gingrich thought it did? Did Donald Trump's State of the Union speech bind the wounds of the nation? Did it lay the ground for unity? Or did it take us a step closer to the Tea Party's Civil War 2.0? There are 2 clues. One comes from Donald Trump's sidekick, Lindsey Graham. Says Graham, if the president invokes a state of emergency to build his wall, there will be a war within the Republican Party. The second clue comes from a conservative source that calls itself Patriots of America. Patriots of America says Trump's abrasiveness isn't helping the country come together. In fact, he may be the second most divisive president behind Barack Obama. In conservative circles, comparing someone to Barack Obama is the kiss of death. This is Howard the Humongous, speaking to you from the future. It's your job and my job to make. Or, want to know why? Ask how. And now, for that insidious, slimy, sleazy, sneaky, impossible to find little off button. I think I've got it.